So we are going to make this site. So this is our header, this is our hero section, then we got our tab section which have like different carousels in it to showcase our like best work. Then we got our about me, images on the left and right, a testimonial section, and then we got a pricing plan option and our footer. Pretty simple website, not crazy, but I'll show you how you can make it. But if you don't want to make it, you can always go to my site and then click on download here, and then basically all you need to do is click on this button, click on upload around here like this, and then just drag it around here after extracting, and then it will be present in your my template section. Just click on insert and then you will get this page completely free and you don't need to start from scratch. So the first I'll do is I'll open this page with Elementor so that I can check to like get the perfect style of what I've made. So to create our header, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a big container like this, and then in that one I guess I'll make it 1500 for now, or actually I'll make it full width like this, and inside that I'll add 2 more containers, make both of them full width like this. And for the main container, which is the top one, I'll just make it go horizontal from your direction, so the left is here and right, and we will basically add our heading. And if you have a logo, you can add an image, so depending on what you have you could use it. So if you have a logo, just use your logo and basically just like choose whichever logo you have, click select like this, and then just keep it like this. But for this one I'll make it with a text which is going to be called luxury design. I mean, I basically just copy pasted this header section from my other site because it just worked with it. But for this one I'll call like beyond photography, because that, let's say that's what we are called. Or we can also add like our name, so you could add like your name if you have like, if you're making a photographer one, then make sure you add your name rather than studio name. But if you have a studio, add your studio name. So let's just try with this thing. I'll also go into the main tab and then make everything go in center, and here we will basically just choose Cinzel like this, and I have selected here as Cinzel 25,500. so let's go here and then select 25 and 500. You don't need to choose exact value around here, you can basically just play around to see which one works the best, which one does not work the best for you. So this is what I've chosen. I'll make it black, and we got our text around here. So now we need our menu, and if you do not have Elementor Pro, you will not have the menu option. You will need to use your theme. If you're using free theme like Ocean WP or Astra, you will need to create the menu in that. But if you're planning to create with Elementor, then get Elementor Pro from my description, or you can always go into my website to check like recommended stuff. And if you use my links in description, you can support me, and or you can also go here and then click on my recommended section, and that way also you can support me. There's also options around here to get like hosting and stuff. And basically, if you're going to make this header, you have to not make it in this page, in the landing page, but you actually need to make it in, you need to go into your dashboard if you're making with Elementor Pro. Okay, you have to go into Elementor Pro, go into templates and click on theme builder, and then choose header. In that header section you have to make this so that it applies to like whole site, but right now I'm just showing you how you can make it. Just make sure you make it in theme builder if you're planning to make it with Elementor. So basically let's just add our WordPress menu there. Looks good. I'll select it and then make it go on the right side. Next is I'll add button, and let's say if you don't want to start making a button from scratch, you can also go into my templates, and then in Elementor templates, but just go into products and click Elementor templates, and you will lead to this page. And here I have like a whole button template created for free. Basically you can just copy paste it from like, just insert it on your site or insert it in a random empty page, and then you could just basically copy it and then paste it wherever you want and then just do the changes. This way you could just make it all like faster, these buttons and all. But for this one, let's just quickly make it here. So I've called it contact us. Typography will be Sinsel. Let's make it, I guess, 16 pixels. Let's keep it normal, and then I'll make the text color to be white. Sorry, text color to be black, and then background color to be white, or we can also make it empty instead of white because our background is already white. And we will add a solid border of 1 pixel, make it black, and I'll add some 5 pixels of border radius, so it's like curved a bit at the edges. And let's make it bigger, so like I guess 18. Then make this one also like more prominent. So I have selected, let's say what value I have selected here. So I've selected 616. So let's do that. 616 looks good. We can also make it have some spacing like this, and basically we can also make it go like more stuff like this. So on hover, what I'm going to do is, on hover I'm going to make the text white and the background black. So when we hover, this is the effect we get. And obviously we can always keep, like if you want to, we can keep it like this section black, sorry, our text color white, and this section like black. That way we can also do it, but I'll keep it like this because it looks cleaner. Obviously play around with the values that you like. You don't have to follow it like perfectly. So I'll choose it for horizontal like this, and then make the content at the end, so that now it goes like this. And inside this one I'll add a padding. If you want, you could do percentage padding too for left and right, so it would be like always 2% spacing from left and right. I'll do pixels for now, so I'll do like 50-50, and then make the header have 100 width like this. And we got our header ready. Obviously we need to also change the typography around here, so let's type Sinsel and then just try different settings and see which one works the best for you. So I'll keep it like this for now. So we got that ready. Next is to make it responsive. What we can do is, here we will click here and make it be centered. Is it not centered? Why is it not centered? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make the contact us button hidden for the tablet and for mobile. So you can see I'll make it hidden, so when I move it like this, it just makes it go disappear. And what I'll do is, I'll also make this one actually hidden, or we can always, instead of doing that, we can make it have full width like this, so that now it looks good. Something like this. Make it be on the right. Well, I want the content to be on right, so we will do is, this is one thing I don't like about Elementor, is that if we make it like not full width, it just increases the size of that container. And if we do full width, it does do it perfectly, but it makes it full width like this. So that could be annoying. That's the only thing that, like, usually I don't use like header with Elementor because of that. But it just works if you want to have it like this or have it in the center. So now it looks like this. You see? Because I don't think there's an option to make it like on the right side. This is just the align toggle. So we got this to look like this. So I rarely use Elementors like this builder, or sorry, this header menu option, simply because I just don't like it. So basically what we are going to do is make this one, we will reduce the padding like this, make it at least like 10 I guess, and then reduce this size to something lower, and then make this size to also something lower until it fits. So let's do 50, and then let's do 50, let's do 48. Oh, this is activated, so we don't want this to be activated. You can do like stretch if you want to. And then you can see this is how it's looking right now, but we want this to be like much smaller. So I'll just reduce it to like very small, like this, and then make this one like bigger. Like this, and then make sure the text is like smaller so that it looks good on mobile version. And just play with the values until you find like the perfect settings that works for you. So just play with the values, and then you might find the perfect value for this. And again, I would just prefer like if you're using a theme, you could do it, or just use like another header plugin, because it's a bit annoying to usually use this one. And obviously we want a contact button in the menu, right? So what we can do is, in this one we will actually duplicate it. So now we have two headers, right? And this one we will actually change our header to something which would have the same menu items, but in that one we will actually add extra button called contact us. So imagine that this menu is also same as this one, but in this one we actually add another contact button by going into appearance and then creating like new menu. So just go into dashboard appearance menu and create new menu, and just add a contact for that, and just make it like select here like this. And what we will do is, we will actually make this one hidden for desktop. So when we do like this, it looks like this. So our menu items and then our contact button, but if we go onto our tablet mode, it hides this button, right? So we have to make sure our first menu, which is our desktop menu, to be hidden on tablet and mobile. So now we got our second menu showing, which would have our contact button, and then in the mobile too we will have like this thing showing. So that way we got a nice header working. Just for the sake of tutorial, I'm actually just going to show like this, so that it looks like, at least it looks visible right now. And then remove the responsiveness. Let's update. Now we need to create is this hero section. So to explain to you, we have like two sections around here with two containers. So that's all we need to do. Go here, select two containers, or you could also manually add them, but it's quicker to use the pre-made layouts. And in this one, what I always like to do is go into advanced and then basically add like top and bottom padding, and then left and right paddings. Always I add 20/20 on left and right, so that when people actually change the screen size, then it would have like at least 20 pixels of spacing if it gets too close to the edge of the screen. Like this gets too close to edge of the screen, then the content would have 20 pixel of difference. Next we add is our heading, make it h1, and I have called it crafting memories at one shutter at a time, right? Yep. And I am using Cinzel decorative, I believe. Let's check. Yep, I'm using Cinzel decorative, and I'll make it be normal, medium. It looks good. Let's make it black. I have used this one as 60%. So we'll go into our first container and make it like 60%, and the next one we can make it like 40, like this. And now in here we basically choose our sizing, something like this. We want to have like one shutter at a click. At the next line we could add a break tag by just tapping like open bracket and open square bracket BR, which is break, and then a close bracket, like this, and then play around with values until you find like the best looking one. Next we will do is duplicate this, and in the top one we will call as beyond photography, like this. Make this smaller, and this one I believe is just Cinzel. This one definitely looks just like Cinzel, so let's make it normal, make it smaller, like this. So now this is how it looks. Make it black. Okay, it's already black. Next we add is our text paragraph. So basically go into our this section and then add a widget of paragraph. Let's paste it around here. And sometimes when you copy paste it from other places, you actually need to make sure that you are not adding any coding around here. So let me explain to you. So if I just copy paste from here, it's not showing that much. So let's see if it does now. Okay, it's not doing. Let's try like this. That error, if I'm able to find it, I'll see. Okay, it's not showing. So what happens is basically when you copy paste something from other site or from like your Google Docs and all, it would basically copy the styling too. So if in that one, if you add like bold to here, or if there was like some unique spacing or text that they have used, font they have used, sometimes it get carried over around here. So what you can do is basically just copy it in your notepad, in an empty notepad, and then copy it again and paste it if that issue happens. Or you can always go to the text editor like this and then add it, because here it shows the HTML tags and all. Because sometimes you would have like, even if you change stuff around here, it would not change because it would copy the styling from the other side that you have copied from. So make sure it is done perfectly. And here I have chosen Rubik. So even though I've used like 3 fonts, it's like one of the font is like only once used like one extra time, that's all. Rarely I use like 3 fonts. We'll keep it normal. 16 pixels look okay. I'll make it be smaller by going into custom, and then if I'm going too fast, just slow down the speed of the video and it would be just easy to watch. So I'll make it like 95%, like this, and then just play around with values until you find like something that works for you. So like this. Next I'll do is I'll add an image, and we will basically like add this image. So let me see what I've named this. Camera icon PNG. So just select your image, and what you will do is basically we can make it go smaller like this. But the issue is when you use this one, it actually uses like this whole container still, rather than just having it being like this. So you can see this border, that pink border, it shows the widget area. I don't want this to happen. So what I like to do is I like to use this option and then reduce it from here like this to match however I want it to be. So let's say this is how much I want. Then I'll go into transform, go into rotate, and then I'll rotate it like this a bit. And from here we will make the use of offset if we want to like get a perfect size or to space. Let's play around with values. to get like a perfect thing that we want. Something like this. So here you can see we have actually just added margin instead rather than adding transform, and whichever one works you could use it. So for now I'll just remove the offset and then use the margin, because you could basically just do is add a negative margin on top like this, or like a right, but it also increases the size, which is quite annoying. So what I've done here is just added negative -50, and to be honest I'm not sure why I added that thing. Even maybe I wanted to move it a bit above. That's the only thing I think. So I'll keep it 0 for now to see why I have added in that one. But I believe because if I remove it, it like moves everything like a bit below, and I wanted it to be above, so I just added like -50. So let's just add -50 because we know that's the value that I have added. And what I'll do is I'll add an image around here, and this image is called this one. Just drag and drop your image. Like this, and select the image. Now what we want to do is we want everything to be at the center. So I'll do this one, center align. If you want to, you can always do just for this too, like this. But I'll make it everything in center. Why not? And then remove the padding, at least for time being. So let's add 20 on 20 and 20 on right. Like this, looks good. And in this one, what I'm going to do is go into style. We could do is add a box shadow like this. So there are multiple ways to do it. I'll show this method, and let me show what I have done in this one is basically 40%, and then this one it is automatically being this small. It looks a bit bigger in this one where I've added. So let's add like padding, something like 50. And in this one what I'll do is there is one way to add this, you know, this border side, or not border, this shadow. One is basically to make it have shadow. So I'll make it go black shadow, make the blur to 0, because if you add blur it does this stuff. And then we will basically just move it a bit below by adding horizontal and vertical. The another method is going into advanced, go into border, type solid, and then click on this section so that you don't add it on all 5 and you have more control. And then we add like 5 on right and 5 on bottom, or let's say 20 on right and 20 on bottom. And we can add it, but there's like one issue. You can see that it actually adds like straight stuff. So that's one way. But if you want to do like, if you want to have stuff like this, then you will need to add border, sorry, box shadow, which you can always add from here too with double box shadows. So if I do like red, make it full, remove the blur, I can always add like 2 box shadows like this and get like another new layout design. But for now I'll just keep it like this. So right now this is how our page looks. You can obviously work with our padding and all to see which one works the best. So like this. We have made it to like 90% width. And again, I don't use this one because it adds like this spacing. You can always choose whichever works for you. There's nothing wrong with using that too. But sometimes this one has like much more customizability. And I basically would do is align itself to right side like this. So we got the same design. Next is we need to add our button, which I'll do is by copy pasting this one to bottom like this. And basically we will do is play around with values so that it looks nicer. So like 50 and 50, 30 and 30. Okay, top should be less, this should be high. So 40 and 40 like this, you can see. And what I've done is I'll use Rubik around here rather than my normal font. Let's make it like normal, contact, stuff like this. Add a arrow. Let's do after, and then add like 10 spacing. So now this is how it looks. You can see contact text looks good. So let's just add that, and again play around with values until you find like the perfect sizing that you get, and make the right side bit smaller because we have added our icon around here. So this is how it looks here, and this is how it looks. And basically the difference is you just have to play around with values until you find that right sweet spot that works for you. So I'll remove the break tag and then see. So this is how it looks. One of the thing is, if you don't want these two words to ever get like this, so if you don't want one shutter to like break, you could do is add another one thing called HTML tag for something which is like and NBSP comma, and what it does is if I click on one, if I add it around here, it should not allow it to break. So right now we can see that if I remove this and then add space, it allows these two words to break into like next spacing. But if let's say if this word was like 20 USD like this, so we wouldn't want this to be like this. Like we don't want like crafting memories 20 USD to be around like this. We want it to be in one line. So we can always add like NBSP between those, and it basically says that these two should be considered as a single word rather than two words, and that way it would never break. So let's go back and then add our NBSP like this so that it looks like this. And then just again everything just comes down to playing with values to get like this matching design. Next is obviously if I want to add more spacing, we can do is add margin, or we can also add padding. Depending on your requirements, you could do it. I'll add margin, and this is how it looks. And let's go into tablet mode, and in tablet mode we will select our main header, main container for hero, and then make it go top to bottom. Select this stuff and make it go 100. So usually it would be on pixels whenever you change. I don't know why it switches to pixels, it's quite annoying. So make sure you select percentage and make it 100% like this. We also have to select this contact and then make sure it's not like changed to hide on tablet and mobile. We have to select this again, make sure it's not on pixel, and then make it 100% like this. And for this section we will actually make it align self. And you should remember one thing, that anything which has this value is allowed to have different values for different devices, for desktop, tablet and mobile. But if there is anything that does not have this option, it basically means that it would have equal changes on, or the same changes on all three devices. You cannot have custom changes for specific that device. For example, we don't have for opacity, so I cannot have like 0.45 opacity and then for desktop have like 1 opacity like this. It will be accurate, it would be same for every single stuff. So let's select this one and make sure we add some padding on top. Padding at bottom, 20 left, 20 right, looks good. And then we can always add more padding on top, or let's say 50. And then we can make this one like full, make sure it's in percentage, and this is how it would look. And obviously you can change with values. You could see there's like this icon, which means we can have different value here, but there is not this icon, so it would be same for every single device. So we can just play around with values until we find our perfect choice. and just that's all you need to do. Just play around and then find the perfect way to showcase it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and then copy it from, well, before that I also need to show you mobile view. So in mobile view we will do is we will actually reduce the top padding by 50, 10, 10 and then 50. Let's choose this one and then make it like bigger like this. And by default what you call Elementor adds 10 padding on every single thing. So it adds padding on 10 padding on containers, any container that you use. You could see it is empty right now, which means it is using 10 padding on left, right, bottom and top. So if I just make it 0, it removes the padding. If I keep it empty, it adds like this one. And even for gap values, which is like gap between two widgets, it adds like 20 pixels for both. So with every widget that you add inside it, it would have 20 pixels of space for columns and rows. So you can always change it here. It comes down to like your preference, how you want to do it. And for this one, I'll also remove my margin. So let's reduce our padding to, I guess, 20. Looks good. This is 10, so I'll just remove this because we already have added 10 on this section. Reduce this. Crafting memories. We can do is we can also make everything be in center. We should make this like H2, I guess. This is okay, and depending on like which one works best for you, you have to choose. Okay, right now this might work for me, but sometimes it might not work for you. So let's see what I've done for the mobile version. This is how it looks for the mobile version. You can check this on your mobile too to see how it actually looks. So this is how it looks for the mobile version right now. So I'll do is I'll basically delete this and copy paste from here. So the hero I'll just copy and then paste so that we get the perfect stuff that I've done. You will need to play around with values to get like nice you see font size and all like this. There's no like fixed option or fixed design that I know that would work perfectly for you. Like if I say like 16 pixel works for me, it wouldn't work for you because you might use different font and all and stuff. So the next thing we will do is add this tabs option. So let's add this one, and if you do not see this tabs option, so if you add, let's say, tabs like this, and you do not see this option like this type of container, what you need to do is go into your dashboard, go into Elementor, settings, features, go in here and just go on nested elements and click active, because right now it's in beta but I have not seen any issues. So make sure you just add active, and then you will get this new tab option where it allows you to have content inside it like this. So we got tab 1, 2, 3. I'll delete first, second and third. We'll make it to be at the start. I'll make this main container to be 1500. Let's work on the tab. So let's call it as wedding photo shoot. Wedding photo shoot. Let's make our this one tabs color to have black background. Well, that's not the stuff. Okay, one thing confused me, that I was changing here but nothing was, because I forgot that it is considered active right now. So let's go in active and then make it black. Basically, if I had, let's say, multiple like this, then we would have seen the changes, because right now it is active, so it was using this tabs settings. So I was confused for a bit for some reason. So let's make sure that our active tab also has this black color, and let's add 5 border like this, or we can also keep it like without border. If we want to have curved, we can add more pixels. Comes down to our preference. Mainly we will do is we will use the titles and then make it a bit bigger, so like 16 pixel. Make sure it's Rubik or whichever font that you use. Let's keep 400 normal. It looks good to me. Let me add one more so that I can see every single stuff. So right now we want normal to actually have white font, so like this. On hover we want it to be black, so we get this effect like this. We can go on title, and you could see this is where we can choose our color, so we can make it black. It is already done for us, but I'll just show that how normal state does it to like this black color. On hover what color it should be, so if I do red, on hover it would be red, so I'll make it white. And active color, which is like this active color, we should make it white. And this is how it looks. So I'll just do is delete the second one for time being, and I would add is a carousel in here, that to image carousel like this. And in this one I'll make sure it's set to full, and then add our images. So basically add our images that we want to use. Make sure the images are same in size. Right now you could see that this one is 640 by 960, this one is 640 by 960. So this would look good, but this one is a bit smaller. So let me show how it would look. You could say this one looks a bit smaller. So make sure you crop the images before adding all of this stuff. So I'll add this instead. And then we got our, you see how this looks. It looks nice when it's cropped perfectly. I'll do slides to show 3, which is default by now, but still it's okay. Then we could do, if we want to slide only 1, so if I add more stuff, so if I add like only 1, it would just scroll 1 by 1, but if we do 3, it would just scroll to the next 3 like this. Right now we have only 3 images, so it just loops back. I'll keep 1, but you could keep 3 because sometimes it's just better to, carousels usually don't generate much clicks, so it would be better to just move it 3 instead of like 1 1 1. Just do like all 3 if you want to. For this one I'll make only arrows so that we don't see these bottom dots. Let's go into additional option, make sure lazy load is on. Basically it means that unless people like scroll down, it would not load the images, it just speeds up your website. Autoplay, so every 5 seconds it would like automatically, you see, change like this. If you want to do like faster, you could do 1 second, and it would every 1 second it would just, you see, move. If you do 200, it would just keep moving fast. So let's keep 5 seconds. Pause on hover, so when I move my mouse over, it would just stop the autoplay. Pause on interaction, if someone clicks, it would like stop the autoplay. Infinite loop, so that it like loops continuously. Animation speed is just speed how much time it takes to like go from one to another. If I make like 10, it would be super fast like this. If I make to 5000, it would be like very slow. So let's keep it half a second, and then this is just direction, how we want it to go, left to right or right to left. So let's just keep left, which is looking like pretty normal. Let's go in style, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this icon outside. You can do inside too. So actually I've done inside here, so I'll keep inside, why not? But you could make it outside too if you want to. So when you do like black, it would look like this. So let's just do inside, and then white looked good. Make the size, I guess, bigger like this, or however size you want. And then for image, we will do is make everything center, or we can make, best would be to make everything on top. It's only going to be noticeable if you have like different size images, but I'll just keep it top. Do custom spacing so that there's like spacing, and then we could choose how much space we want in every one. I'll do 20. If you want to add border radius to every single one, we could add. I'll keep it empty. And that's all we are doing for this one. And what we will do is basically go into our tablet. So make sure you do this first, is by go into your tablet mode and then choose how much slides you want to show. So I'll do 2 slides to be shown for tablet, and for mobile we'll do like 1 slide to be shown. Then obviously we could make the size of this one smaller so that it looks good. And what we are going to do is, after we have done for every single one, we can basically just click here and copy, and then copy and just type as, I guess, dog photo shoot, and then type fancy photo shoot or whatever you've done, like model photo shoot of pet photo shoot like this. And I also have this border line that is showing, and it's pretty easy to do. We will go into our tabs, go into our normal state, and in this one I'll add a solid border. Click around here so that it's only added for bottom like this, only 1 pixels or 2 pixels like this. So 1 pixel looks good. Make it black, and that's all we do to actually add the smaller lines, and basically make it a bit further if you want to, and then how much distance you want from the content, and you get this effect which looks nice. And every time you choose like second one, just make sure you click on this carousel and then choose your next images that you're going to use. If I click like now, you could see that we actually have different images around here like this. If I choose this stuff, go into my sorry, my carousel, and then if I go into my carousel in image, I can make it go center, I can make it go like at bottom, so it would add like this spacing. So it's up to you how you want to push progress further. I'll keep it like this for now. Next section we are going to look at is our about me section, which is quite easy to make. So let's do is add 2 sections like this and then duplicate. Let's make it 1500 pixels like this, and then we will add is a heading, and then in the heading we will type about me. And the faster way to do it is basically, copy our first one, paste, make it h2 or h1, whichever, however you want. This h1 and h2 is basically for SEO purposes. So I'll keep this one to h2. Oops. Type about me. Let's make it align in center like this. And you could see we already have the same font and everything ready because we copied from top, but you can always reduce it to however you want it to be. I'll add padding on top, so let's say 100 and 20 from left and right. Then I'll add is a text editor, or I can basically copy paste this, make it go in center and make sure it's set to full. Then again copy paste this one, and then we basically play around with values to get like our perfect required stuff. So like this. And I know lots of people lots of you guys might prefer to actually use like light, but you can see it's not much readable, and if you use normal it is like much more easy to like read. So I'll keep 400. I prefer, my design usually prefer users rather than only looking good. And if let's say adding 300 makes it look good, but adding 400 makes it readable, I would choose 400 and not choose 300. Again, even though it looks good better like that, I would still choose the 400 one because it is easier to read. And what I've done here is, instead of using 500, I've used full width like this. And I'll do is basically add images on left and right. So let's do is add our images. Because it is like a because it is a photography website, that's why I'm using so many images. If it was not a photography website, then it would depend on the design, but basically it's photography, then we have to go with like lots of images. There's no other choice for us. And this is how it looks. And you can see there is like 10 pixels, so you could, if you want to, you could remove it. And you could remove it like this. And then in this one we could add like more padding so that there's like much more spacing between this one, like this. So if you go in here, you could see I've made it full width. And in this one, what I've done is, rather than adding spacing, I've kept it same. I guess I've kept it same. Yep. Because what's happening is, here I basically, you can see it's showing 0 0, so I've added like 20 20 so that there's like spacing around here. So if I just remove this stuff, it is already automatically adding 20 gap between our columns. So these are columns. So if I make it 0, you could see it is making them stick without any stuff. And 20. So if I basically just kept it empty, it by default uses 20 pixels like this. And I'm also planning to do is make it centered. Yep, looks good. I can make everything centered if needed. So it comes down to your preference again. And you can see it looks a bit different, right? Because the image we are using here is smaller and the image we are using here is like bigger. So if I just use the same image, which is like this one, it is set to large to 1024 like this. If I just make it bigger, you can see this is how it looks. Actually it was also looking for this one, I just didn't make it bigger. So this is how it would look with about me and stuff. Just play around with values until you figure out which one works the best. So like adding 20 padding on top a bit makes it look a bit bigger and better. Then we basically go into our tablet mode, and here we will do is make it go top to bottom. And what I like to do is, I don't want to show like this images for this one, but if you want to, what you can do is, let's select our container, make sure it's set to, let's say 10, and then 10 on right, I guess 50 on top, 50 at bottom, and make this containers be 100%. Make this container be 100%. Make this container be 100%. So we can obviously make it look like this if you want to, but what I'll do is I'll actually reduce one of the image at least. So I'll just hide it on mobile and tablet so it looks like this, because we already have images around here, and then again image would not look good, at least for tablet. So we'll just add about me after this one, and then add an image, this one, like this. So for mobile also it looks good. But now one issue I totally forgot to show you guys is, if we look in our this section, which is tablet option, this is not how it looks. We want the tablet option, so this should be shown top like all our options. But if I click around here, it is doing this weird stuff, and then I have to go and scroll down, and we have to do this weird stuff, and it's quite annoying to do because Elementor does not have that option added automatically to have like our tabs on top when we using for mobile. So what I've done here is, there's like a tutorial online to show, which shows like how you can add the tablet tabs on top for mobile, and it's basically that you need to use custom CSS, which is this one. I'll add it in the description. So This one I've basically copy pasted it from another stuff or another YouTube video where they showed how we can add this. And what we need to do is select our tab. So if we go in here and then select our tabs widget, go into advanced, and one thing, custom CSS is only available for Elementor. It is only available for Elementor Pro and not free version. And there is an alternative Royal add-ons for Elementor which allows you to like add a custom CSS panel. You can use the link in description to get like Royal add-ons for Elementor, the free version. It adds their own option for custom CSS, but I would suggest using Elementor Pro because again, one less plugin to worry about, less chance of your site breaking, and then faster speed too. And just use the link in description to get that. So you can see this is how it looks right now. So we need to actually fix some stuff. So first thing, we need to choose our gap, and then here we need to make it stretch. So now this is how it looks. So you can see it looks perfect for me. And we can basically just add some spacing on top, like 50 and then 50 and then 10 10 like this, and it looks good. We got this tool looking good. Obviously play around with values until you get happy with the values or the way it looks. Next we add testimonial. Pretty easy to do. Let's do is add double stuff like this, make it 1500. Let's add our image. So I'll just copy this one and then paste it here. Add any image that you want like this, and then we will basically add testimonial widget. So right now this is what I'm using. So if you go down, you can see, and I have added it in the container rather than making it bigger. So how I've done is I'll show you. So let me first add our 20 20 100 100 like this. Let's go and add our testimonial slider, which is only available with Elementor Pro. But if you want to find a free alternative, you could use this one, premium add-ons carousel. And I actually have created a video on like, just watch the video how to get Elementor Pro features without buying Elementor Pro, and in that one I've explained how you can use this one to create like a slider. So we will actually use is testimonial slider. So testimonial carousel like this, add it here, and you can see basically we are just going to make sure everything works the way we want to. So I'll do is choose image above, or actually no, I want it to be like, I guess, image stacked. Yep, this one. And here we will basically just work on changing this stuff. So let's make it real big and then make it 16. Make sure it's like normal, because by default it adds like italics, so make it normal. You can make it like this or make it go light. I'll keep normal. Make this black. I guess make it bigger. Light 18. Just play around with values until you like how it looks. Next is our name. Again, real big. Guess 25. You can choose however you want. Choose the color, then the title color, so which is this one. I'll make this one to black, and then just change the values of however you want it to be. So the image size, which is our this size, and the way we can add it is by basically going to slides, clicking in the image, and then choosing whichever you want. It would basically just make it have that image like this. Here we can change the name like DMmotionarts, and then we can type like our title around here, so like subscribe or like. Obviously don't type that, but rather than typing, you could do that. So just add your company name or title around here, and then your name of client here, and anything that is present in testimonial around here. We will choose the skin to be the bubble version. You could see it adds like this bubble area, and choose how much the width should be. I'll keep it normal. Slides per view to 1. We can keep 2 if you want to, but 1 looks just good. Additional option, basically if you want arrows, I don't like to have this one, but I'll keep it for at least testimonial because I've not kept it here, but I think it looks good to keep around here so that the client knows that there's more testimonial, at least for this section. Always do lazy load. Pagination, transition duration is same as what I've showed before. Slides, everything same as shown before. And yeah, everything same, just bubble background color is just to choose any background color if you wish to. If you want to add border, then you could add border. I'm not going to. And basically we will do is in this one we will actually make it have some height. Let's say if I make it like 500 pixel height, maybe 800 pixels height. Okay, so 800. And then this container, I'll go into style, go into background color, choose an image instead of a color, and choose the image that we want, like this. In this one, I'll do is, so you can see it is repeating around here. I'll make it no repeat. Then if we want to, we can add a background color there, but we don't want to do that. I'll make the position to be center, and display size, I'll make it cover so that it is covering everything. So you can change however you want it to be. I'll keep it center so that these people are in center. And I'll make everything in middle like this. Okay, for this one only, like this, justify content. And the arrow color, I guess we can make it go black, make this bigger, and then like this. And we obviously have this text too here, and that's pretty easy to do. Copy and then paste, make it go on top. Testimonial, like this. And we can always write like extra stuff here if you want to. This is what our clients say, but I think that would just remove the focus from this one, so don't do that. Let's go into tablet mode, like this. Let's make it go like this, but I don't want the image to be top because we are already ending on our image. So I'll make it go in reverse, make this 100 pixels, make this go 100 pixels, and then add some minimum height to it so that it looks nice. If we want to, we can add some padding too, not like this. I'll reduce the padding here, basically add 50, and then 10. And in this one, I'll do is I'll add like a margin, I guess, instead, so that there's like some more spacing between these two. Like this looks good to me. Again, play around with values to change the typography and all to match your size, to match your site, like this. Then in this section, we do the same stuff again. And right now, I'll do is I'll remove the padding like this. I'll add 10 padding on right, 10 padding on left and right, I guess 20 on top. So the space, because in mobile the spacing looks too much if we add like 50, and it is already, we have already added 10 padding around here, so I think we can remove the padding from this section. So let's do 0, and we got a nice looking design, so like this. And here we can make it bigger or smaller depending on our requirements. I want to make it smaller, so I'll make it smaller like this. Make the navigation button to be smaller like this, and it works, looks nice. We can also drag like this. Next is our pricing plan, pretty easy to make again. I'll do is make it again 3 by 3, So let's do 2 by 2 first. Sorry, not 2 by 2, just 2 by 1, I guess, because it's 3 and 1 row, right? So it's 3 by 1 right now, or whatever, just 3 columns. That's easier to explain. Let's go in here. I'll again add 100 padding, 20 20 on left and right. Make this one have off black color. Never do like completely black, not good for eyes, or if people are coming for your side, it would strain their eyes. This is how it looks, and I'm pretty much sure I have used extra container inside of this. So rather than doing 3 containers straight up, what I've done is inside of this one I have added extra, like 1 container like this. Let's make it full width, and inside that I have added this text, call it pricing plan. If we want to, we can also add like small text below it saying that this is only general pricing or stuff. So like, this is only a general pricing, and then make it go center, make it go white, and then make sure it is, you know, full width. That way we can also have like this small text. Next we will do is use another container, so like this. And what we can actually do is, rather than using another container, so let me show you guys, we can actually move this outside container. So you can see we have one container and then we have another container, this one. Rather than doing that, I will actually just move this outside our container. Sometimes it's like quite tricky to move, right? Which is quite annoying, like this. So what you can do is basically, you know, duplicate this one. Sometimes you just have to like use some tricks to make it like a bit easier, right? Rather than dragging around here. And then we can then move it outside, so it just makes it easier to move it outside. And then delete this container. So right now you can see it did absolutely nothing. Okay, let's just do it like this then, the way it was intended to be done. Okay, so what we did is basically we have one container which is our main container like this, and then we have no container inside of it, and then we added our pricing plan, and then basically we did is we added another container like this below that and make it full width. That way we reduce one extra container, and then inside that we add 3 new containers with full width like this, and then choose the main container and make it go horizontal. So we got 3 containers, right? Basically we just now copy paste our stuff that we want to showcase here. So let's quickly do is add our this stuff, and then so if I don't know which font I've used here, so I've used Cinzel rather than going for the bigger font. So let's just copy it from here. I've used Cinzel, make it white, and then call it what did we call it, modeling package, something like this. Make sure it's not like h3 or something, or just make sure you do the SEO perfectly with HTML tags. And here I'll make it like $2.99, something like this. Select the smaller container, make everything in center. Also, I'm not sure why I made it like white, because we are going to make this container have white color like this. Make it white, make sure the text were like in black rather than going for white, stuff like this. Next we will do is add icon list like this. Let's choose our like one person, and obviously we can add, let's say, any icon that we want to with our pricing. So let me just add icon for time being, and then I'll show without icon too. So let's duplicate it some more times and then quickly copy paste whatever you provide. Hello. Stuff like this, and once we have done, we can choose it to be at like center like this, or keep it left lane or left side like this. Make it have nice spacing. We can choose our icon color and stuff if you want to, like this. Change the vertical position if something's not working. And in the text section, let's make it too big. Make it, I guess, 16, and make it go like medium, or just keep it normal. However you want it to look like, we will keep it like that. I don't want to have this icon, so I'll just remove the icons. Now remember that you cannot have different colors for the icons, and that's one way to do it. If you want to have different color of icons, what you will need to do is go here in the icon, click upload SVG, and you will need to upload an SVG design that you have created, and you can see it as red color. But just remember that this might, so if I clear this, is it even visible? So you can see we can actually change the color from here too, but it will change for every single stuff if we do that like this. And I don't believe I have any colored SVG around here. So if you had any colored SVG, it would show there, I believe. But again, I don't quite remember, but you could add SVG around there. And right now what I'll do is I'll basically make it align in the center like this. Now select this one, and then we will do is add some padding on top, padding on bottom, padding on left like 10 and right, so that it looks somewhat decent. In this part I'll add margin of 50 pixels on top like this, and we got our design looking like this. Next is basically we will copy paste our button after this like this. Let's remove the button. Let's call right book now, and here we can add different links to have that book now button. Let's make it white, make this one black, and then we got our button ready. Let's reduce it to like 30, I guess, and then let's make the margin to have like more like this stuff like this. So just play around with values so that you get like this perfect design. Right now I'm just making it pretty quickly without thinking much. Also you can see that we have added like one container, then we added two of this thing, then we added one container. Inside that we added 3 containers. What we can do is in that main container we could reduce the size, make it align self at the center, so it will only align itself to the center. If we do it with this button and click on align items, it will do for every single thing. But let's say if you don't want this to be at the center, then you will need to do is just select only this part, then do align self, and what it does, it will only align itself to the center and not everything if you select this part. So I'll keep it like 84%, looks good to me. And basically again again let's just duplicate this one so that we already get our designs ready quickly. So you can see our pricing is all done, and actually we should have done is we should have actually changed the values to what I want before actually duplicating for every single one. So let's go on tablet. In this one, let's make it like bigger. Stuff like that. And inside this one, we can make it go top to bottom, so it looks like this. And then we can make it smaller or bigger, however we want it to be. Change the, again, everything is same. You just go there and then choose every single typography, nothing crazy. Let's do for mobile version. Again, too much spacing on left and right, so we can always reduce it. do something like this, add 50-50 on top, reduce this one to 0, and then if you want more spacing between this, we can always try to add it with our columns or rows, so we can have like more distance between this one, and we will then change all our heading size and all so that it looks better for mobile, something like this. And after you have done for one of this stuff, basically delete the next two and then duplicate it, because then you don't have to change everything again and again for all three of those. Next we will do is add our footer, which is the final step. So basically add one container. Actually we add first one container and we add 1500, go in this one, and then let's type our stuff. So we added beyond photography, I'll make it just P. So for, and then I've added a break tag around here, so by DMmotionarts. So let's just do is like this. Actually I added it around by DMmotionarts. We can change our line height to make it look like this, play around with values to get like nice design however we want it to be. Let's add our extra padding on top, I guess 50 at bottom, and then 10 and 10, 20 and 20 on left and right, so that it looks like this. And then I'll do is add double container, and again this is a footer, right? We want this page to be on every single page. So if you let's say added extra pages around here which would have contact us and all, this page should be at the bottom of every single one. You don't want to like copy paste it to every single one. And obviously you could do it if you don't want to, let's say, buy Elementor Pro and want to just not use the theme builder. You can always copy this one to every single page manually. But if you don't, you can always, you know, go into, if you have brought Elementor Pro from my link, just go into theme builder like this and make it in the footer section. So you just go here, click add new and create for footer, and here you can create your header so that it is automatically applied to every single page. And here you could see you can add condition like add to my entire site or which page you want it to be. The steps are same, you just make it on that theme builder rather than making it here. So even though I'm showing tutorial around here, you can still make it there, so without any issues. Let's add, let's say 50 padding on top, 20 and then 100 at bottom. We want to add this stuff, so let's add our text editor. Let's copy this one, and you can see there's no spacing. If you copy it around here, it would not have any spacing because this one uses HTML and this one actually uses Visual Builder. So depending on where you click at the end, so obviously you can copy it here and then change it to Visual and everything would change to Visual Editor. So this is how it looks. Let's delete and let me do enter, shift enter. So if you cannot do like without space, make sure you do like shift enter, and then it would work. Now we play again with values to get our perfect design. Just play around with values to get the perfect design. Then we want our icons, so like type social icons, let's add it here, make it at the left. Let's add whichever you want, so just add a logo, then you can add your link around here. And then what we will do is we can keep it square or we could keep it circle. And if you want to do like custom design, you could always go here and then go into border radius. If I make it 0, it turns to like square. If I do let's say 20, it does this stuff. So obviously you can play around with values too. I'll keep it square for now. And here we'll do custom color. And you can see that if we go into this one, we actually have option of custom color here too, and that's only when you want to like change for every single one, having like different color options. So right now you could see that this one has this color because I've chosen here, but I'll choose official and then actually go here and click custom, and that way we can change everything to have consistent color. So let's make this black, or actually let's make it white. Let's make it black. You can obviously make it empty color too if you want to, because background is white. Choose, let's say, size. Let's add a border of 1 pixel, black color, and then if you want to add border radius or not, I'll make it 0, so there is no border radius. Padding is how much space should be around there, like this. I'll keep it default. Let's make it a bit spaced out. And then on hover state, I want hover state to have primary color turned to black, which is the background color, and our secondary color turned to white. So we get this effect. You could see we get this effect. Make sure you play around with values to get like nicer design. It looks too big right now. This one looks perfect. So just play around with values. I'm just showing you the features. Next is forms. Now for forms, it is required Elementor Pro for it if you want to use Elementor Pro only. But again, if you use Contact Form 7 or WP Forms, you could install plugin called Elementor Essential Add-ons for Elementor, which adds this option, or you could add premium add-ons for Elementor, which is what I use commonly. I use premium add-ons for Elementor, which is an extra plugin. And once you install that and create a Contact Form 7, you would get an option like this, which will have like PA tag. So right now you cannot see because I don't have Contact Form 7 or WP Form 7 installed. So if I let's say drag, you could see it's not installed. But this is for essential add-ons. So if you use premium add-on, it's just not showing here. But once you install it, you could it will show there, and just drag and drop and edit it. But now I will show you with just Elementor Pro. The reason why I keep saying to buy Elementor Pro is simply because you have to use like so many less plugins if you just use Elementor Pro. You will not need to use like WP Form or Contact Form 7. You will not need to use like any newsletter plugin for that. You will not need to use like lots of other stuff that are required. So you just reduce your requirement a lot less. So this is how the form looks. A quick detail about the form. Here we can choose how much column width we want. So let's say if I make it 50, let's say I duplicated it, you could see we have like name, and basically we just change it to like, let's say first name, and then change this one to like second name, stuff like that. So I'll keep it 100 for now, and this is the style that we are making, right? So I'll make it required. Email obviously required. Just choose all of this stuff, whichever you want to, and then create the form. Text area is basically this one, and we can really increase the size of it. Name, email, phone number, message. So let's add is a phone number, and we will select TEL for that. Let's call it phone number and add a placeholder. Let's move it above messages. Name, email, phone number, make it required, and then we will just need to play with our things. So let's do is go in button. So right now this is selected to justified. If we select left, it would be on just this one, center, left side, but I'll keep it justified. Everything else we keep normal. Action after submit, collect submission or email, and then you could choose email and then add your email around here and do mail WP SMTP setups. That's not the tutorial. I'm just showing how you can create a landing page now. There's enough tutorial showing how you can do SMTP setup. It's quite easy. Steps, we are not showing steps, we are showing this one. So let's do row gaps, and column gaps are basically columns. So right now we are doing row gaps. Let's go into button, and I'll make the border radius to like 0, so it is like square, or the edges are sharp. Next I'll do is we will go into field, and then border radius is 1 by default. So right now you can see it is showing empty. And what I'll do is make sure this is disabled so that I can change value like specifically. And right now this is how it looks, but we want it to only have it at the bottom, so I'll make it 0. And now we get this bottom arrows. I'll reduce the row gaps so that it looks nicer, and then go into advanced, go into border, and here I'll add another border. So if I add 2, it would look like this, but what I need to do is I'll only add for top, and that way we get that look, this look that I've just made. And then we will do for tablet and see how it looks, and everything from here is same of how we did it before. We just change it to row, we change it to percentage, we make it 100, and then we go here, we change it to 100 like this. And I'll do is I'll make it the form to be on top, and then have this one like this. And again do the same stuff for the mobile version too. Just play around with values to get the right size and all, and then you're just done with the page. And I know I've skipped like lots of stuff when it comes to like making it perfectly looking fine, because this tutorial I just want to explain how things work rather than making it like pixel perfect. And this is how the site actually looks when I made it, like when I just focused on making it. So you can see I played around with values to find like the perfect thing that would work. I'll do inspect to show you guys how it looks in the mobile version. So you can see this is how it looks in the mobile version. It's the light box, testimonial, pricing plan, beyond photography, and this is how it looks. And again you could just do the same here, just play around with every single value to make sure it works nicer. And yeah, that's all for this tutorial. If you don't want to make from scratch, you know, download button is already here, so just do that. Use my links, that way you could support me. Subscribe and like, share everything that you could do to support me. Thank you.